Welcome to the Side Action Podcast, the sports gambling show that covers everything in the world of sports betting from A through Z. We'll cover the four major sports, as well as anything and everything in between worth some action, and will increase the size of your bankroll. And here we go.
All right, welcome to the Side Action, episode 24, season 7. My name is Jim Wigglers, aka Wegs. You can follow me at Wegspool on X and on Instagram.
And I'm Coop. You can check me on Instagram at Dalton Cooper, on X at Mr. Grumpy Gills. Again, we are the Side Action Podcast. Don't forget to check us out on TikTok. It's Jim's child, other than his actual child. So yeah, I'm not dying this week. I'm back to being a normal human, I think. So
yeah, did you miss the Blackhawks game last week?
No, that was my souvenir. Yeah, I did. That was my souvenir that Linnea got me. Yeah.
She's sweet. She's a sweetheart.
Oh.
I thought she was with a friend. I figured, it's a stand-in. So
stand-in.
That's good. That's good. Well, good. So you said you had a pre-bowl this week, huh? You had to get in there, get your reps in.
Yeah, I won't be there Tuesday night, so I had to. We got to get it done early. Early and often. So
you just go in and what do? You just kind of. It's the honor system, like in terms of.
Oh, they print the scores out or whatever. They have it in the computer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They just give you a pair, and then they tell you, just go ahead and bowl, and then they'll write your scores down. That's what they put in for this coming week.
How'd you do? You did okay? Still dominating?
Shot 699, I think.
Oh, that seems good. I know you said over 700 last time, so
yeah,
still good.
Yeah, hopefully be good enough. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Good.
We're going, Wegsy. I know we're not here talking about bowling. We got to talk about
I know. Just still in time. Well, we missed you on Championship Sunday. Ridgeway came over, Kitson and Scotty Green.
Nice.
So that was nice.
Nice.
We had a good time. And then, by the way, I don't think I'm switched over to my stupid earbuds, by the way. Technology, dude. I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good. But anyway, so yeah, it was a fun time. We, got some pizza, relaxed. It was a good time. Didn't really do much this week. Actually, I did go out quite a bit this week. I went out to dinner. Nicole took me to dinner this week, which was nice. It's her last week here. We went to dinner with my mom on Wednesday. She's supposed to move on Sunday. We'll see.
Gotcha.
TBD on that.
Oh, okay.
She's moving to like St. Louis or something. She's like moving out. So.
It's just a hop, skip, and a jump, right?
Yeah, just 5 hours, And then last night was like a women's Affordable Housing Network award ceremony, support the ladies in the industry, and they gave it to my old agency's executive director. She wasn't my executive director, but the old agency I used to work at. So pretty good time.
Nice.
Got caught in the rain on the way home. Other than that, had to coach, a little preview. I had to Costa Rica on Monday, so I got to kind of do some stuff this weekend to get ready, and then, we'll figure it out. So
yeah, like get your suntan lotion, or
I haven't. Props. I do have to get some sunscreen for sure, and make sure I have the proper clothing. But it'll all be good. We'll be all good. So
nice.
So who we taking to the shed this week? By the way, Coop. Obviously, you got your favorite team in there.
Oh yeah, first up was the Cowboys. I was taking the Cowboys shed. So they had the whole debacle with Brian Schottenheimer. But this little fun stat I found. They're the only team in the last 30 years since they've last made the conference championship game to not make the conference championship game. Now that the commies were there, I just thought that was a fun stat. And I read
longest drought.
Wow, Jerry Jones has got to be so sick to his stomach reading that wherever he is. It's not all, hot dogs and glory holes out here, Jim. So you just got to be real careful.
Did he actually say that?
He did. Yeah, at a press conference.
Did he know what glory hole means?
I have a couple of ideas. I don't know if I'm ready to go out on a limb on any of those ideas, but I've got a real good feeling I know what that is.
Yeah, I know what it is. I've never done it, but it'd be interesting. But I can't believe Jerry's pushing 80, isn't he? I mean, maybe he knows. Jerry's a Texan. He's got some, or Oklahoman actually. Who's your other? He looks like you got a couple of.
The commies themselves, especially their defense. They gave up seven rushing touchdowns in the conference championship game, which is the most in NFL history. The game's been around for quite a while, so to have a record like that come across your defense, never a good look. So they're going to the shed, and then putting Justin Tucker in the shed. He's had a hell of a season. He's about to have a hell of an off season. We might have a Deshaun Watson situation on our hands again.
I saw that.
But yeah, he's definitely in the shed. See you later.
So it's a rub no tug. He's supposed to say, but apparently he didn't. What are you gonna do? Maybe that's why he was off this year. A little off in the kicking.
Too full. Yeah.
Well, I'm taking Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator of the Bills, to the shed. First half, what the hell were you doing? I don't know what the hell they were doing. We knew it. We talked about it. You got to beat the Chiefs on the ground. Second half, they ran the ball effectively, get James Cook the ball. First half, what are you doing? They're not doing anything. They're just trying to throw the ball every time. I mean, this is playing into the Chiefs' hands. So, Joe, I mean, I don't know what you're thinking. You did not look at the scouting report. You didn't see that Joe Mixon dominated this team the week before, and then all of a sudden you made the adjustment. Is that good coaching? I don't know. I knew it was supposed to be the game plan going in. So, Joe, get in the shed. Get in there with Justin and the gang and reassess your life. And then to your point, I know you have the rush defense. I also had cornerback Marshawn Lattimore of the Commanders. I know you got a tough guy attitude. Everybody thinks you the way you play the game. He got away with the pass interference early, then he got called on another one. Then he gets hands to the face. I mean, AJ Brown. Like, at some point, you got to play the football game. You know what I mean? Like, dude. I mean, stop holding just play. You're getting smoked. I mean, Mike Evans already owned you in the first playoff matchup, but AJ Brown got the best of him more often than not. So. Get the shed. Probably not going to be on the team next year, but we'll see.
See you later.
Yeah. Well, in Club Dub, I will go first. I have Jalen Hurts. I don't know if he played the best game of his career, as I heard on some podcasts this week. I'm like, he only threw for 46 yards, but he played effectively. 3 rushing touchdowns in this game. No turnovers was the issue. I still think he held the ball a little too long on some plays, but he played well. He hadn't broken 131 yards in the first 2 playoff games. Looked pretty good. I still think he was a little gimpy on the knee, but overall played a really good game and led his team to the Super Bowl for 2 out of the last 3 years now.
Yeah. No, there's probably no one that we shit on more that's probably more successful than maybe Brock Purdy, but I still feel like Brock Purdy shit on. So
yeah. And then for Kansas City, I went with Xavier Worthy. I was a week late on this guy, or a week early. I'm sorry, a week early. He was late for me. He had 6 catches for 85 yards and a touchdown. Plus, he had 16 rushing yards. He just made big plays for this team. They did what I thought they would do the week before. Instead of the week before, Houston's like, Kelsey, go ahead, beat us. This week, it's like Kelsey's not going to beat us. Everybody else will. Xavier Worthy was one of those beneficiaries. So. Congratulations and way to get to the Super Bowl in your rookie year.
First time they score more than 30 points all season, Kansas City Chiefs.
Amazing. And then those Bills defense isn't the greatest. So, what about yourself? Club Dub.
Yeah,
you've got some fun.
Begrudgingly, I had to put the Swifties in Club Dub because the Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl and then we're going to have to see Taylor Swift and God, that's going to be all over the camera instead of worried about the football. So we're doing that. And then Club Dub, also the Bears fans. It's the first time all season outside of being 5-2. We have some optimism. They hired Ben Johnson. They hired the guy that everybody thought they should hire. So we're going to see how well that works out because it always works out and everybody wants one guy and there's no way it could fail. So shout out to Ben Johnson. We're in Club Dub.
Yeah. Thanks, Ben. Come on in. There's plenty of room for you. It's a smaller group this week, So here's what I would say. I'm not sure he's the guy. Obviously, I'm like more of a Vrabel guy or whatever. But it's exciting to see the Bears actually get the number 1 candidate on the market. That's great. It's the first time ever. They usually get like the 3rd tier guy. The Mark Trestman. Who's Mark Trestman? Well, he was offensive coordinator for the Raiders one season, you know. He was amazing. He won 4 Grey Cups. Like, okay. Like, we never heard of this dude, right? Or it's like we get John Fox, like, you know, it's like nobody's excited about it.
Yeah,
So at least we're excited about it. Matt Eberflus, right. Matt Eber flushed down the toilet. I mean, it's like we find that, look, if he fails, fine. But you can't say that, hey, we should have picked XYZ, right? It's not like we passed on it. I do think they're paying him way too much money, but they're going to go all in on him, and that's good. So let's see if he can actually make it happen. So
yeah, we're gonna need it. We need a winner, Wegsy. We need a winner here.
God, we do. Chicago needs a winner.
Yeah.
And I don't mean winter. I mean a winner.
Yeah.
Well, let's go over the games. We went over them a little bit in the open here. First, the Eagles, they dominated. Wow, 55-23. This was well, I'm not gonna say it wasn't close. It was interesting. It was a weird game. Early in the game, we were texting. You know, they Washington 18 plays to go for a field goal at 4th and 2. I don't know what they were doing there. And then the very next play, Saquon busts out the 61-yarder, and then they fumble the next play, and Dalton texts me, the game's over. Which I'm like, yeah, probably. But they had a chance. They got back in it because Nick Sirianni is a bonehead, and he kicked a 53-yarder, and then all of a sudden they're within a score. I was like, oh, okay, Washington is going to keep this close. Second half, it just was snowballed. You know, they just couldn't stop the run. And Frankie Louvu, how many times did he jump over the pile? You know, that was an interesting thing, huh? They almost awarded him a touchdown.
Yeah, would have been really funny. Honestly, I was hoping it would happen.
Yeah,
because they had 4 straight encroachment or offside penalties, I think.
Insane. So Barkley obviously had the 3 touchdowns. Hurts had 3 touchdowns rushing. He didn't actually hit his rushing prop, by the way. Only 118 yards. Come on, Saquon. But AJ Brown, man, he crushed it, bro. 6 for 96. So that cashed. And then Daniels did go over his rushing prop, or his total yardage prop. He ended up being the high passer on the weekend. Did you know that?
No.
Daniels. Yeah, he just edged out like Allen, I think, or something like that. So, and then Austin Eckler, you failed me. I should have had the receptions prop. He had like 4 catches for 0 yards in the second half. He had 17 total yards receiving, and he was short by 10 yards. So what are you gonna do?
Needed those catches. He needed like 4 more catches at that rate, you know.
More like 50 because they were like inch. I caught it for 1 inch. So that game, obviously, the Eagles go back, as we said, 2 out of 3 years. They've been a really good team, especially since the bye week. They were 2-2 going to bye, and they've only lost 1 game since. You know, they've been great. We've talked about their line, so they're going to be formidable. And then the Chiefs, the inevitable Chiefs, the Thanos, you know, your favorite, you know, I'm inevitable. And look, Raja's even fired up about the Chiefs. They win 32-29. What can be said? I knew stubbornly that they probably would win, but it was like, God damn it, Bills! Like, you do this every friggin' time, dude. You're down 20. They were down 21-10 in this game. They're gonna get housed. And then all of a sudden, it was a 22-10, and then 21-10. And then, of course, they did what they were supposed to do in the second half. They ran the ball. They took the lead. I mean, the 4th and 1 was bullshit. We all know it. That Allen got the first down. Give me a break. But they would have found a way to lose it anyway. You know that. So, I mean, the 4th quarter was pretty fun, back and forth. And then in the end, 4th and 5, you know, your guy, Spags, just comes up with a blitz that nobody's ever seen in the history of time, apparently. And that, you know, what's his name? Dalton Kincaid your namesake couldn't get the ball there. He should have had it.
Yeah, he definitely.
On that 4th down. So congratulations, Chiefs. So it's obviously 3 straight Super Bowl trips. Nobody's ever done that. It's 5 out of 6, right? Is that right? They've won 3, right?
Yeah.
They've won 3. No, they've won 3. Yeah, they've won 3. Yeah, 3. But they went to another one. Yeah, so it's 5. Yeah, they've gone 5 out of 6 times. That's insane.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Patrick Mahomes is 29, and he was making his 7th conference championship appearance, and Tom Brady, it took him into his mid-30s to get to 7 or something like that. Or like he was 36 years old when he got to his 7th one. Just crazy.
Right. I mean, it's insane. And Andy Reid too. It's like, and Andy Reid's been. I mean, now he's been to the Super Bowl multiple times. You know, he's been a guy. So to go over some of the things. Obviously, Mahomes rushing prop. He outgained Josh Allen in this game. He had 43 yards to Josh's 39. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. If you bet on that, that probably would have been a good payday. Kelsey was way under. Dalton, I should have laddered this damn thing. Only went the simple under at 61. You got to go all the way down to like 25 and gone 3x. He just wasn't part of the game plan as a decoy. Kareem Hunt did hit the first touchdown. I was really hoping for the second one. He didn't get it. Allen did not score despite all the stupid tush pushes. I mean, they don't do the tush push. They do like a quarterback sneak, and all he does is go left every time. Change it up.
Yeah, they're way too predictable. That was exactly, and they it's every time they knew it. And there was none of them that were very successful either. They got a yard, but that was literally all they were going to get.
You're a 250-pound quarterback. Get low and drive. I mean, Jesus. And then we talked about James Cook. He really should have been a club dub. He was so good. 85 yards rushing, 49 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. Don't know why it wasn't on the field at the end of the game. Again, I don't know what Joe Brady, what was he doing? But they get the loss. It was, it's like, what's the stat? 7 playoff loss or 7 playoff wins is the most any person has that hasn't gone to a Super Bowl or something like that for Josh Allen. So, it's just you're in the wrong era, I guess, until something happens to the Chiefs.
If it's not him, it's gonna be Burrow.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, congratulations, you got your 8-1 because you got your matchup. You got your Chiefs Chiefs Eagles.
We got the inevitability. There we go.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, shout out to that. It was plus 950, so that works out. A little bit of chunk. Yeah,
and if you look at 950, even better. If you look at the bigger picture, even though the Chiefs have been a little bit whatever, the Fugazi term where they've won a bunch of games that they probably shouldn't have. You take out the game against the Broncos where they, sat the starters. They basically, only lost one game all season. That's Raja. And then the Eagles have basically they've been the 2 best teams since week 5, right? So Detroit had a really good year, but these 2 teams it's a collision course. So here we go. So the Super Bowl, I didn't update these numbers, by the way. Sorry, Dalton, I'm working too much this week. But as of this moment, the game opened up where the Chiefs were a 2-point or 1.5 point favorite, then it went up to 2, and now it's back to 1.5, at least on most of my apps. And then the money line is Chiefs minus 130 right now. It's interesting. It was 127 earlier this week. And then it's Eagles plus 107. So it's one of those games. It's kind of a coin flip game, although now, Chiefs obviously the favorite. And then the total is at 49. It opened up at 49 and a half. It's come down slightly. And this game obviously isn't going to be played till the 9th, so it's a little bit of a week to talk about it. What are your initial thoughts on the game?
I like Philadelphia's physicality. I think the Chiefs are the only team that maybe could match up with them physically. I think if Buffalo would have found a way to beat Kansas City, then Buffalo would have gotten destroyed in the Super Bowl, and it wouldn't be very close.
I agree with you.
And plus, I just don't want to see the Chiefs win. So anything but that.
Of course.
So, I mean, I'm hoping the Eagles figure out a way, but I feel like I'm a fool just because Patrick Mahomes always wins these games. So, why go else? We just keep counting them. All they do is keep winning. So.
Yeah, I hear you. I agree. I think the Eagles are a better team. I think it's not even rocket science. Besides the quarterback position, they're pretty much better at almost every position. The coach, they are better though. Andy Reid's a better coach than Nick Sirianni. I don't think that's arguable. So it's Spagnuolo, and he's really good. So it's tough. Coaching sided with the Chiefs to get 2 weeks, that helps them. But the roster is way better. The defensive line is incredible for the Eagles, and the offensive line, even though they were banged up, they can still do a lot. So we'll see what happens. I do think this is my little tidbit. If you like the Eagles in the game, take the points now, because I think the line's going to move towards the Eagles. I just think there's way more Eagles fans out there in the world, and so I think they're going to bet the game, and it's going to start sliding closer to 1 or a pick. So if you like them, get them now. I'm going to wait on my little Hedgerton the third because I got the Eagles ticket. I'm going to wait to see this money line drop a little bit for Kansas City before I do my hedge on that. Although, according to Art Primetime Horseshoe Murphy, he said, "Come on, just let it ride, Jimmy." Even though he let it ride and did not do too well apparently in Arkansas, but that's how it goes. Some things I like in this one. I like Barkley's receiving yards over. I think that, look, nobody's been able to stop this run game. I don't know his rushing prop. I should know that. Let's look at it. Barkley's rushing prop right now is about, it's actually lower than I thought. It's 111 yard, 111 and a half is kind of the middle line. I think that the Chiefs are going to try to find a way to stop him, right? They got to try to stop him, but you can use him in the passing game. So I think he'd be great. Just little players like they were doing a Cook who was dominating. And I do like Hurts rushing yards over too, because I think that's going to be part of his game. He's going to be a little more healthy. Now, granted, his number is 37 and a half. We already know Patrick Mahomes, who's at up to 27 and a half now. He's almost a given for that because he always gets those yards. But those are kind of some of the props I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, I like purple Gatorade for the Chiefs, by the way.
Ooh, this just in.
Yeah, purple Gatorade.
This one.
Keep an eye out for it.
Okay. Is that because when they win, they always use purple? Because they win, they get purple. They use purple Gatorade.
Purple Gatorade.
It's a good one. Good tip. Okay. Well, we'll cover more Super Bowl props and stuff, I guess, next week. We'll figure out when we tape next week with you in Ohio and me out of the country. We'll figure it out. But I did want to talk about college basketball, another love here. And, I did a bunch of information here. I'm sure you had so much time to review it, but we'll go kind of conference by conference here and general topics. I haven't watched a ton of basketball, but I've been catching up the last couple of weeks, and then we kind of can talk. You don't have to do predictions. I already got some futures in, but generally speaking, what I heard anyway is the scoring is way up in college. It's kind of fun. I guess apparently the last 2 years there's been an uptrend in scoring, so teams are scoring more points. So you'll see totals higher than in years past. You might be saying, "Oh, that's really too high," but in reality, college teams are shooting the ball better, and there's a little less. It's more like the NBA, freedom of movement. So you're getting a lot of points scored. And the SEC this year is crazy stacked. It's kind of like what the Big 12 used to be. There's 10 out of the top 25 teams are in the SEC alone, and 4 of the top 10. So Auburn comes in as the number 1 ranked team. They are 5-1. They're the short shot to win the title. They're 19-1 on the year. I always, for new listeners, I reference this website called KenPom.com. It's Ken Pomeroy. He does all these metrics for basketball. I follow him religiously, especially on the offensive, defensive metrics, because there's kind of a formula. We'll talk about that close to the tournament, that if your team is within the certain ranks in both offensive and defense, and you have a coach that's made it to the Sweet 16, you have a chance to win the title and especially get to the Final Four. So Auburn is one of those teams for sure. They're a great team, plus 500. Bruce Pearl, he's something. So have you got to see these guys play at all? Have you seen these games?
Yeah, I've seen a little bit. Ironically enough, I think I saw them when they're 1 loss.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, but yeah, they're really good. Bruce Pearl is obviously they shoot a lot of threes. They make a lot of threes. They can get you, if they get going downhill in a hurry, you're in trouble.
Exactly. Also in that same state, Alabama is really good. They're plus 1,400 to win the title, 18-3. They're 4th ranked, 7th in Ken Pom. Marcus Sears is their backcourt guy, and I saw them play the other night. They were down there at Mississippi State, which was really good this year. Didn't matter. They just were draining threes at a record pace, and he makes all the right plays, this guy. And Nate Oates, was their coach, actually benched him the game before the second half because I guess he wasn't passing the ball or something. So, there is some control going on in there. Congratulations. But Alabama's still back, and they obviously were in the Final Four last year, so they're really good.
Yeah, Coach Oates will have them right.
And then Florida's been kind of surprising. They're plus 1,700 to win at 18-2. They've been much better than years past. I've always loved Florida, obviously Noah years and all that kind of stuff, Al Horford years. But they've kind of had a dip. But this team, they got all the right moves for the transfers, so they've been really good, and they're in the top 5, top 4 in Ken Pom, so they're really good. Tennessee plus 1,700 to win the title. Kentucky, of course, Cal's gone now. They're plus 2,000 to win the title. They've got Mark Pope, who used to be BYU's coach, and they're handling their business in the SEC. Although they started off going to the SEC playing great, and of course, it's just a buzzsaw through this league. And I'm not even listing the other 5 teams. I'm just listing the top 5. This is just insane in this league.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
there's
hell, even Vanderbilt's in the top 5 or top 25.
Yeah.
So, do you like anybody in this conference at all, or are you waiting to the Big Ten and the Big 12?
No, I think the one team I have a future on is Duke.
Okay.
But I mean, I can see any of these teams in the SEC making a run. Just like you said, it's the survival of the fittest, and tournaments all about matchups and who gets who in what bracket. So, I mean, they're all teams. What really stands out is just the amount of good coaches they have in this conference.
They do. A few years ago, they totally switched over to getting great coaches, and that's all that they need. I mean, now you've got Calipari's in Arkansas. My guy Musselman's out at USC, but everybody else is just insane talent. You see it. Now, the Big Ten, obviously, they're probably second best conference. If you look at conferences, 5 teams in the top 25, 2 in the top 10. Michigan State has had an amazing year. They're 18-2 right now, 7th ranked, 13 in Ken Palm. They're plus 2,500 to win the title. I haven't put a future on them. I should have, because it was 3,500 when I first put this up, and it's 2,500 now. They're undefeated in the Big Ten, which is hard to do. So I'll probably put a little cheddar cheese on them at some point, because I do. Izzo's my guy. He's my homeboy. I love Tom Izzo. But at least when they get to the Final Four, then they can be Mr. Hedges.
Yes, there you go.
That's right. Purdue, even though they lost Zach Edey, they're right there at 16-5. They're top of Ken Palm too. So I haven't seen them play yet. It's a little bit more under the radar because they don't have Zach Edey this year, but they clearly have a good squad. So I'm excited to see them. I was more excited about Illinois before this week. Their odds have dropped. They were like 14-5 when I first put this up. They lost 2 games this week, so we'll see. They got a really good player in this Kasparas Jakuziunas. He's a really good big European guard who can ball, but 14-7. I mean, it's a rugged league, so that you still got to make it through.
Yeah, they can't have more than probably 12 losses, I'd say.
Right. And then Michigan's a kind of a surprise team. They got rid of Juwan Howard. They have Dusty May, who used to be the Florida Atlantic coach, and he's turned this team around immediately. They're 15-5. They're plus 5,000 to win the title. I'd probably be more about looking Sweet 16 or something. But they're unranked right now, but they're really good metrics, and they've been very competitive. So it's a team I've been watching.
Yeah, that'd be a good. I like that sneaky Sweet 16 pick.
Yeah. And then Big 12, who's always been traditionally a really good basketball conference. It's just they lost some teams to the SEC now, so it's a little bit tighter. Houston is awesome. Always Kelvin Sampson always got a team that just rugged team, plus 900, 16-2 this year. They're number 1 in Ken Palm, so they're actually good on offense and defense. I haven't got to see them play, but they've won some tough games, even like at Kansas and things like that. So watch out for Houston. Have you got to see these guys play yet?
Yeah, they're really good on defense. They're an older team like they have been in the years past, but Kansas is a bunch of frauds. I wouldn't base anything off your opinion off who beats Kansas.
Yeah, it's true. Kansas is a fraud. They're a little further down. They're plus 3,000. They're 15-5. They're 5th in defense, but their offense isn't that good. Hunter Dickinson somehow is still in college. I thought he was 30 by now. So there you go. But Iowa State's a good team. They're plus 1,100 to win the title, 17-3. You think they're a fraud too?
No, they're a great team.
Okay.
I think that's the other team that I would put a future on. If it's not Duke, I think it's Iowa State. Cyclones,
yeah, they're really good. As is Texas Tech. They're 16-4. Really good team. This is going to be a bloodbath. This is going to be a great conference tournament. A team that's entered into the Big 12 that's unique is Arizona, obviously the former Pac-12 team. They're plus 5,000 to win the title. They're always talented. They're unranked. This year, they're actually pretty good in Ken Palm. Usually their offense is, off the charts. Their defense isn't so good, but they're actually top 27 in both offense and defense. So it's a team to watch more in the tournament. They've had huge disappointments in the tournament, the NCAA tournament. So maybe they'll be more battle tested in the Big 12.
Yeah, and Caleb Love is there. He's really good. He could take over a game.
He's a former North Carolina guy. So we get to your team, Duke plus 430. I guess they're the short side now, besides Auburn, to win the title. 18-2. They're second ranked, third in Ken Palm. Your guy, Cooper Flag. This guy is obviously a lottery type pick guy. He's tall, playmaker, great ball handler. Have you got to see him play a lot this year?
I've seen him play a couple times. He's just really good. You just tell that he is by far the best player on the floor at any given time, and that's usually what wins championships. So
yeah, it's just whether he's a young guy, so whether when he starts facing the grown men of Houston or some other team that can kind of beat him up, will he still be able to be slick? You see that oftentimes in the tournament. Clemson's, I didn't put in their future. Sorry, I failed you. But they're way down there. But they're a good team in the league, 17-4. They're unranked right now. And then my squad, Louisville. I don't know why I attached to Louisville. It was like, oh, let me start watching college basketball. SMU Louisville. SMU's supposed to be really good. Oh no, Louisville ran them out of the gym, and they've got Chucky Hepburn, who used to be at Wisconsin. It's a shorter rotation, so if they face a team like, I don't know, it's Alabama, it's really deep or something like that, maybe they can get worn down. But this team has won 10 straight games. They're 16-5 right now. They've been rising up at Ken Palm. I grabbed them at 75 to 1, a little cheddar cheese. So that's hopefully a James Hedgerton III come Elite Eight, Final Four time. I do like them, and they have a new coach. That guy's turned everything around. I can't remember where he was before, but they, obviously he's one of those coaches like Dusty May that has flipped the squad immediately, and they're paying dividends.
Yeah, good culture guys.
In the Big East, you've got a couple teams to watch. Note I didn't list UConn because I don't believe in UConn, but Marquette is plus 3,500 to win the title. They're 18-3. Shaka Smart has his team. They're 9th in the country, 12th in Ken Palm. They're always a good defensive team, but they have a really good offense too. I saw them play the other night against Butler, and they just closed this team out of the road. They're a team to be reckoned with. So definitely a team I would watch out in the tournament. And Shaka obviously has had some success in the tournament, at least way back. It's a better fit for him at Marquette than Texas.
Yes. Yeah, especially the style he wants to play. I think definitely fits the Big East than it does in the SEC.
And then the St. John's, dude, like obviously Patino's there. He's obviously, maybe he's not hitting on cocktail waitresses anymore, or what is it? Diner waitresses. But they're plus 3,000. They have actually a better odds to win than Marquette, probably because of the coach. They're 18-3 as well. They're 15th ranked. This team is 4th in defense on Ken Palm. These guys ball. I have not seen them play yet. I can't wait to see them play. They're definitely a team I'm interested to watch down the stretch, not just in the Big East, but in the tournament.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in the story. The storylines are going to be crazy going into the tournament. I can only imagine, and I think that might be a big factor for this team.
Yeah, I think there's definitely not one dominant team. Like I said, I didn't list UConn. They're in the top 25. I mentioned I saw them play in Maui. They have 6 losses. 3 of them came in Maui. They've been okay. They haven't been great, but what I would say is they're still in the mix. Hurley is a pretty good coach. He's not the best coach ever, like he's said to people, but I think they're a little bit of a fraud too. They don't play much defense comparatively, so I don't think they're going to have a chance to repeat this year. That's for sure.
Yeah, they might be fraudulent. Yeah, you might be right.
There's 4 other teams I want to highlight here in the preview. St. Mary's out of the West Coast Conference. They finally have a chance to kind of get ahead of the Zags this year, or at least it seems that way, even though Ken Palm would tell you different. They're plus 10,000 to win it all, so probably not there, but they're 19-3. They actually face off against the Zags this Saturday, so we'll see who's actually good. The Zags actually lost at Santa Clara this year. I know that Primetime Murphy told us that, but the Zags are plus 4,000 to win it all, which is funny because they're 16-6, so they're definitely not where they've been in the past. But their metrics are great. Their offense is awesome. Like they beat somebody, Oregon State, by 30 points, which they had lost to Oregon State earlier in the year. So their offense, when they're going, is great. They just don't play a lot of defense. So I'm interested in watching that game tomorrow night. It is funny that St. Mary's is probably a better team, and they have much longer odds than the Zags, which is kind of interesting.
It's good value.
It is. Utah State is this is plus 15,000. They're 19-2. They're unranked, but they're the best team in the Mountain West. Who obviously that's Colorado State's my team, but they had 5 teams get in the tournament last year. I think it's going to be only 2 or 3 this year. But Utah State's one of those squads you got to watch. They play this interesting zone, which most teams around the country are playing man to man. So it's just a different type of thing, like you've seen at Syracuse in the past. So I think that they're definitely going to be a different style that people may not be ready for come tournament time. And then lastly, Memphis, Anthony Hardaway's team, plus 8,500. These guys have pros on their team, but they play in kind of a weak league in the American Athletic now. They're 17-4. They definitely, I'm not saying they wouldn't make the tournament if they don't win the league, but it's one of those situations where, I don't know, they could be a team that's really good. Like last year, I had them, I lost them on the first week or something. They should have beat somebody that they should have, but they are in the top 25, but they're not as good in Ken Palm. So it's one of those teams I would watch. You get them in a tricky like 6-11 matchup or 5-12. They're a team that could be knocked off. But I'm curious to see how these guys play because they have really good talent.
Yeah.
So it looks like you like Duke. You said you like Marquette. No, who's the other team you liked?
Iowa State. Those are my
Iowa
two.
State.
Those are the two teams I'm willing to spend money on. The rest of them, I don't trust them.
Yeah, I hear you. And it's tough because, like, traditionally you want to pick teams in, especially like Cinderella dark horse teams like in the SEC that might be a team that's lower tiered than the top teams because they've been playing great teams all year. They get in the tournament, they really mix it up. But that's more for like, long shot for Sweet 16 or Elite Eights versus winning the title. Usually winning the title, it's a blue blood team. So that's why I'm a Michigan State Louisville guy right now. Not that I don't think Duke's going to win it. It's just they're the short shot. That's all.
Yeah. Find me a better player than Cooper Flag, and I might put money on it.
Yeah. We're not going over specific matchups this week, Coop, because I thought this was a lot of content. But Duke, North Carolina at Duke is playing this weekend, so that's a huge game. There's also
take that future to get better value on it. So
yeah, you should take it now, right? Because they're going to beat UNC this weekend, right? I mean,
you would think.
Yeah, there's some other games in the SEC that every week, like every goddamn day in the SEC is like a huge game.
It's just down there, and it just means more.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just see. I'm gonna pull this up here. SEC, you got Florida, Tennessee this week. That's a good one. And Auburn goes to Ole Miss. So there's good stuff. And then you got Cal is returning to Kentucky this week. Arkansas is playing at Kentucky this week. Obviously a big underdog, but you think he's going to get a warm reception or cold reception when he goes back to Rupp Arena?
Oh, man. It'd be lukewarm. There'll be a lot of claps, but there'll be some, there'd be a little claps, not a lot of claps.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, well, that ends the preview. Next week, we'll go over the Super Bowl and then maybe a couple of matchups. In the following week, we'll just start pounding matchups after we do the Super Bowl recap. Just kind of pick some spots that we'll have to do kind of implied lines if we look out for, because basically the thing about college lines is they only come out like 24 hours in advance for the most part. You can't really get a line like 2 to 3 weeks, like a week in advance, like you would in football, for example. So what are you up to for this weekend, dude?
Well, we have a dinner party tonight for one of Linnea's friends' husband, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. So one of her friend groups, so we'll do that, and then trying to think. Tomorrow night, might be bowling a tournament out in Mundelein, right? Mundelein.
Okay, Mundelein. I thought you were going to play in that tournament that you liked the volleyball tournament. That was just you were interested in the volleyball tournament, or maybe I missed that on Facebook or something.
I don't think so.
Not you.
I don't know. That you might be thinking of somebody else. I don't know.
Yeah. Dalton Cooper. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say you might be thinking of the other Coop. So.
Yeah, sure. Cooper Flag.
Yeah, and then I don't know what we're doing Sunday. We'll probably just hang out Sunday, to be honest. But yeah, pretty chill weekend. Hopefully, nothing too crazy. And then Monday I turn on and leave for Columbus. So.
Yes, and is that a pleasure trip or is that work?
for work. No.
Okay.
If I ever go to Columbus for pleasure, you should really think about where I value my pleasure, I would say.
I've been to Columbus. It's fine. There's some couple dive bars in there I've been to. I mean, it's
You wouldn't go there for pleasure, would you?
no, not personally.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't go to Ohio for pleasure. I heard Cedar Point is nice. That's in the state, but
Not this time.
I gotcha. Okay. Well, I'm gonna tonight meet a friend for dinner, and then tomorrow a little volleyball. No real plans throughout night, so I just texted Art. I'm like, I may head back to Rivers tomorrow, try to win my money back.
Hell yeah. Go get
And
a
then
win.
Sunday I gotta prep for the trip. I leave at 5:45 in the morning on Monday morning for
Nice.
my Costa Rica trip.
Is Lee taking you to the airport?
Oh God, that's what I should do. Hey Lee, can you take me to the airport at 3 in the morning?
Yeah. He owes you one, right?
He owes me multiple. I know he doesn't listen, but my God, Lee, he did. I got him his car back last week, which wasn't bad. He's a funny guy. He's a funny guy. He did try to get. He was trying to rally up the group for Ethiopian food next week when I'm out of town. So, like, sorry, buddy. What can you say?
Damn.
But yeah, I'll be sure to take some pictures. Maybe I'll do a TikTok video with if I catch a big fish or something. It'll be, courtesy of Side Action.
Hell yeah. There you go.
Supposedly it's like sailfish is big. I guess they're different than marlin, but they look gigantic.
Different. They're not as big as marlin, but they are more fun to catch.
Okay. And then they also can do like where you drag it across the bottom or something. You catch grouper or something like that. Because some of the stuff we eat, if you catch Dorado or something like that. So I'm looking forward to it. And
yeah, that sounds like fun. Hell yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to do fishing for 2 days. I'm going to do ATV waterfall Wednesday and then Thursday. I'm sorry, do the days right.
Who's
Tuesday
going
to
on the
Thursday.
trip?
So it's a company trip, actually. So
Nice.
the founder of the organization, founder of Michael's, is a sport fisherman. He's like a renowned sport fisherman. So for, I don't know, 20, 30 years, he's been doing this trip where he takes, some people. It's kind of a reward for certain people in the company, about 25 people a year. And then about 3 or 4 years ago, the kind of younger set, the founder's like 95 now, so he doesn't go on the trip. They've set it up, and I went in 2022 and they first did it themselves, and it was like in Cabo and super fancy. I think I told you the CEO and those guys stayed in like Jason Giambi's villa.
Nice.
We stayed in just a little $5 million villa, not the $20 million, $50 million villa. So this one is in a resort called Los Sueños, which is in Costa Rica. And so, yeah, we just kind of go down there. It's all expense paid. Just, pick us up at the airport, take us to stuff. We've got all these villas, and then there's a private chef at the main house. And it's super fancy, dude. It's going to be nice. I will probably be nowhere near like actual humanity of Costa Rica. It'll all be walled in some resort, but it's fine. I won't probably catch up because Tony Garin, he goes down to Costa Rica, but he's not going to be down there at that time. Plus, he would probably be far away anyway. So it's all good. Take some pictures, catch some fish, put my feet in the sand, that kind of thing.
Yeah, hard to complain with that.
Exactly. So, well, good, man. Well, everybody follow us at Side Action Pod or Side Action Pod on Instagram, on X, and Side Action Podcast on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. Follow me at Wegspool on X and on Instagram.
Yeah, make sure you check out wegspool.com for all of your insights and charts for your better picks. Check out wegspool.com. As well, you can check on Instagram at Dalton Cooper and on X at Mr. Grumpy Gills. Again, we are the Side Action Podcast. Make sure to check us out wherever you get your podcast. Give us a follow, a download. We do always appreciate it.
We do. We need it. So
yeah. We gotta start filling in these. We gotta start making money elsewhere now that football's over.
I know it's time to make money. I mean, you could bet on the Pro Bowl probably, but not a good idea. It's flag football.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Have a great weekend.
There it is. Love you guys.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Side Action Podcast. We appreciate all of your listens and thank you for joining us. We'll see you all again next week on Thursday for some more hot picks and side action. Side Action Podcast, its owners and associates take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by the show hosts or their guests. Statements or show topics are not necessarily the beliefs of this podcast, and opinions between talk show hosts may conflict. Individuals following the advice given on the podcast accept their own risk of losses from wagers made. As the Side Action Podcast, its owners, hosts, associates, or guests will not guarantee any advice given. The opinions and advice given on the Side Action Podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Intro and outro and transition music credits. Song titles Jerry 5 and District 4 by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.org. Licensed under Creative Commons Attribution 3.0. creativecommons.org/licenses/by 3.0.